Lack of accountability studies show that spiritual bypassing is commonly used to escape uncomfortable realities rather than engage them productively. Forbes reports that spiritual bypassing functions as an unconscious avoidance mechanism. Rather than building resilience, it stunts psychological growth, discourages honest confrontation with suffering, and even enables harmful environments, especially when negligent leaders or communities model and reinforce this behavior. Common problems arising from spiritual bypass include repression of difficult emotions, compulsive niceness, and even spiritual narcissism. This habitual avoidance is not without consequence. As detailed by professionals, it perpetuates patterns of harm by encouraging environments where unhealthy behavior is tolerated or explained away, rather than addressed and resolved. It can also drive victim blaming, erode empathy, and minimize calls for justice, weakening the social fabric as a result. The absence of accountability in a culture compounds these dangers. Surveys reveal a crisis of accountability in modern institutions. In one workplace study across 40,000 participants, 82% reported avoiding, failing at, or not even trying to hold others accountable. The result is confusion, erosion of standards, systemic dysfunction, and lost trust. Outcomes that are mirrored in society at large when spiritual bypassing is normalized and harm repeatedly goes unaddressed. Research from the University of California, Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center and other positive psychology institutions has demonstrated that authentic well-being is inseparable from healthy, accountable relationships. According to recent findings, the quality of an individual's close relationships is a stronger predictor of physical and mental health than markers like wealth or even genetic predisposition. Co-experienced positive emotions, moments of genuine connection, empathy, and accountability lead to greater marital and social satisfaction, while lack of accountability and honest emotional engagement predicts lower well-being and even higher instances of negative health outcomes. In a study out of Berkeley, participants with strong, high-quality relationships not only reported greater daily happiness, but also lived longer, healthier lives. The research concludes, our close relationships are essential to human flourishing and happiness. Avoidance, repression, or living in denial, hallmarks of spiritual bypass, directly undermine this pathway to both personal and communal well-being. Societies that permit spiritual bypassing and lack strong mechanisms for accountability experience profound breakdowns in justice, empathy, and collaboration. When pain or wrongdoing is spiritualized away instead of addressed, communities lose the incentive to protect the vulnerable, confront systemic abuse, or support those struggling with trauma. The cultural fabric phrase, trust erodes, unhealthy power structures persist, and the population as a whole becomes less resilient, less compassionate, and less functional. Healthy relationships as foundation for well-being is now well established through both clinical and population-level studies that healthy, accountable relationships are foundational to health. Positive shared experiences, honest confrontation of pain, and reciprocal care play a direct role in lowering psychological distress and supporting recovery from adversity. In other words, to be truly healthy as individuals, families, and societies, we must be able to engage in relationships that value truth, responsibility, and empathy, not just spiritual rationalizations or bypassing. A culture that normalizes spiritual bypassing and eschews accountability becomes unsafe, emotionally, socially, and collectively. Real spiritual and psychological health require communities that honor real suffering, confront wrongdoing, and build genuine, caring relationships. The science is clear. Healthy societies are formed not by the denial of pain, but by the steadfast practice of love, accountability, and connection. Values that both theology and positive psychology now affirm as essential for flourishing.